This is your host, Bruce Hutchin, welcoming you to another informative episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 330. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. On today's show, we have Niki Tilley and Brittney Glaze of Model Hunter TV. They're going to share about their passion that's so strong, they do all-day sits at Peconi's Trophy Whitetails of Southern Ohio. Yes, these ladies brave the elements and they get in the stand early and get out of the stand late. Why? Because they want to hunt mature bucks. They get a lot of tips and techniques, plus you'll hear the passion they have for the hunting tradition. It's never too early to think about food plots. Whitetail Rendezvous has an ebook for you. Just simply text 33444 food plot to get your copy. Welcome to another edition of Whitetail Rendezvous. Hey, folks, we're heading down to Ohio today. In fact, we're going to Peconi's Trophy Whitetails of Southern Ohio. And we're going to talk to Niki Tilley and Brittney Glaze. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, it's really exciting, and I can't wait for you gals to tell us stories about the bucks that you've taken down there at Peconi's, at Joe Peconi's. So let's start off with you, Brittney, and talk about your most recent hunt.
Okay. I've actually been to Joe's. This will be my third trip. I came last year, and then me and Niki came a couple months ago, and now we're back. Ohio has great deer, and I know that they do because I've seen them, but last year I just couldn't get them in close enough for bow range. They were coming in at 50 and 60 yards, and I'm only comfortable at shooting, up to 35 yards. So I saw some nice bucks last year, but wasn't able to get them in close enough. Me and Niki came a couple months ago. The weather was just awful. It wasn't in our favor, and the bucks turned nocturnal. We didn't have a good chance at all that week. We felt like bad luck was chasing us. But this week, Niki got here, we got here, and Niki got her first buck with a crossbow our first night here. She was hunting for a couple hours and got one. So she's got the luck this time. And I'm still out there trying to get a Pope and Young. I'm looking for 125 or bigger because I'm hunting with my bow, my compound bow, and I've gotten a few bucks under my belt, so I'm just trying to get a little bigger each time. I'm waiting on that special one to come out. We're after a few, waiting on them to come out during the day. So I'm excited because we've got snow falling on the ground right now, and it should be good for the deer. They're going to want to come to the food during the day so that they can stay warm and have all their nutrients. But I love coming to Joe's because Joe is super nice. It's very welcoming. He's got cabins that you can rent right on the property. It's very cozy, and it's like hanging out with your friends at deer camp. I mean, he's now become one of my good friends. So I absolutely love coming up here. There's great deer and great company.
That's great, and we'll get into how you get started, the hunting tradition in the later part of the show. Can you pass the phone over to Niki, and let's let her talk about Peconi's Trophy Whitetails of Ohio.
All right, here I am.
Hey, Niki. Now tell me about your experience at Peconi's. Crossbow hunting, you've been there a couple of times, and you put a buck down this year, and I think Joe also said that you put a doe down. So kind of walk us through your experience at Peconi's and, how you were able to close the deal.
Yeah, so this is my second time here at Joe's. And, the first time, like Brittney was saying, we worked our tails off and was in there every day. We was even doing a couple all-day sits, just trying to do whatever we can, hoping one of them would slip up while we was there. But we just didn't get a shot. Saw some great deer, had a lot of action in the woods. There's no telling what's going to happen when you go to the woods, so you've got to be prepared for anything. So we're lucky enough to have been able to come back this week. So on the first night, Sunday, the first evening hunt, me and Brittney was hunting on the same property. She was further back on the hill in a blind, and me and Joe was in a blind down on the bottom of the hill. And we had a little spike come in, and he did not have a care in the world. He was just your normal cautious deer, not over cautious or anything. He come in and hang out for about 10 minutes and left, and so we was just sitting there and super quiet. And next thing you know, Joe says, "Here comes a buck, Niki, here comes a buck." And he was coming down the same trail that the spike was on the hill to our right. So we got to watch him walk in, and which was great for me because it was able to try to prepare myself a little bit so I could try to contain my excitement, and my heart was beating out of my chest. But I was trying to control myself so I could keep it together so he could come in and I could get that shot and get him down. He took his precious time. Don't they all when we're after that big one and we're watching him come in? He came down the hill, started walking in the creek, and at this point I'm like, oh my gosh, he's not going to come in. He's going to keep walking, and he's going to go the opposite way. But Joe's like, no, this is perfect wind. He don't have a clue we're here. He's coming in. And so I'm like, okay, okay. And here he comes. He starts getting closer and closer. He gets to about 50 yards, and he stands there for about 10 minutes, and I'm holding up the crossbow, just waiting for him to come to 40 yards. And he is not budging, and he's looking dead straight at us. And I'm like, well, this is going to be great. It's just what happened to me. A buck that I want to shoot is not letting me get a shot on him. But finally, he came in at 40 yards and turned just enough broadside to let me get a shot, and I shot, and the rest is history. And now he is on the way to the taxidermist.
Pardon me. Great story. And, you mentioned, was it Jay that was your guide?
Yes, Joe was with me.
Oh, Joe was with you. Okay. I didn't quite hear that, so I wanted to make sure. And Joe, folks, is the owner of Peconi's Trophy Whitetails of Ohio. And Joe was on the show about 6 months ago, and he told me about Niki and Brittney coming down to the farm and hunting hard. And I got to give you props to these ladies because they hunted hard. You heard about all-day sits. Tell me about all-day sits and how you pull that off.
Well, it's really tough. We pack our bags full of snacks, and we just try to mentally prepare for the day, what could happen. We try to make sure we have enough water, just snacks. And, we'll get up and we'll stand and we'll stretch and try to just do something to help keep the time going. And, but on a nice cold day is really not as hard as you think, because you know that it could happen at any minute. So you're always on your toes, and it's just always an exciting time. And it's on when we say we're going to do an all-day sit. But it's not too bad. Just, like I said, just a lot of water and a lot of snacks.
So do you have earbuds in?
No, I'm when I'm in the woods.
Yeah, and all day sits. Do you listen to music or Snapchat or Instagram, or do you get on social media?
Oh yeah, I do get on social media. I try to limit the time. I will just sneak my phone out in my lap and I'll check a few things, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'll just check them all and maybe post a status or maybe post a Snapchat picture being in the woods, and I will put it back up because I do not want to be caught with my phone out when a big old buck walks out.
And Niki, that's happened to a lot of people. I got attacked by not a shooter buck, but a really nice young buck, and he just walked literally under my stand when I was doing some Instagram posts, and I went, holy blank, and I was screwed. I was just hammered. There was nothing I could do. I took a picture of him.
Oh my goodness.
So
wow.
Hand it over to Brittney, and I'm going to ask her the same question. So pass the phone over to Brittney, and I'll ask her the same question about all-day sets.
Okay. All right. Hello.
Hey, Brittney. Niki and I were just talking about all-day sets, and how do you prepare for that, and how do you keep your mind, sharp, and how do you not fall asleep?
Well, all-day sits are pretty tough, depending on where you're at and how cold it is. You definitely want to prepare for the day, so you take water and snacks, and I take extra battery chargers for phones, cameras, whatever you need, especially when we're filming, because if it's cold outside, it just kills the batteries on everything, so you got to be prepared and have extra batteries. And now they make those little packs that have like 2 to 5 charges on them. You can plug it in, which are nice. And then when you're sitting there, I love sitting in an actual tree stand. I try to find one that's comfortable to where I can stand up for about an hour and then sit down for an hour and stand up for an hour, because, sitting there all day, you don't want to get blood clots, you don't want your legs falling asleep or whatever else. I try to stand up as, half the time. Plus, whenever you're shooting, most of the time you're standing up with your bow. But last time we were here, Niki and I did an all-day sit. We were muzzleloader hunting with our CVAs, and it was like crazy windy. It felt like we were in Kansas. The wind was so awful. Our faces were blistered. But we sat all day. We toughed through it, knowing that at any moment those big bucks were coming out. And we were on our toes the whole time because there was a lot of deer action, just not the big bucks that we wanted. So when you have movement in front of you, it keeps you awake and alert and excited. Those long days when there's no deer action is when it gets tough. You just want to fidget around. You feel like a toddler in church on Sunday morning trying to figure out what to do. But those days you do use social media or something to stay alert, because if not, you'll fall asleep, which can't say that I haven't done that, because the best naps I've ever had are in a deer stand. So we all have them.
Now, you have a harness, so when you fall asleep, you're not going to fall, off your stand.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. I always use my hunter safety system, and I'm always hooked in, because I honestly hate heights. Hated them growing up, and when I first started hunting, I would have to take about 5 to 10 minutes to calm myself down every time I sat in stand. So over the years, I've conquered my fears, I guess, and I try to get in the stand higher and higher each year just to see how well I do.
And, typically depends on the terrain you're hunting in. If you can get up to 15 feet or even 20 feet, it just makes a whole heck of a lot of difference on the, deer scenting you. That's what I found. It does make it harder when you get up to 20 feet. Their angles have changed, and unfortunately, we don't practice shooting our bow, at that angle. Have you ever shot your bow just in practice from 15 feet or 20 feet?
I actually do. I practice out of a deer stand and between 15, 20, and 25 feet. Because I know at some of these outfitters, you never know because it's not our property, so we don't know what we're going to go sit in. So I try to practice at different levels with my bow and my gun because the angle is going to be different. And the terrain at my house is, flat. And then we're hunting in the mountains up here, so you might be shooting at something down in the valley or whatever. So I try to practice every chance I get at different levels and different angles with both weapons because you just never know. And I want to be prepared for every situation that I might encounter.
Well, I can just say this as an older guy that's hunted quite a bit across North America. You gals understand the game really well, and I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. We're still learning, and that's one of my favorite things about hunting is hunting with different people and learning new things. And there's always something new to learn, and I'm like a sponge. I want to know it all, and I want to know every single way so that I can figure out which way I want to do it.
Well, I'm going to give a shameless plug, and hope you ladies subscribe, rate, and review Whitetail Rendezvous. And I have guests 5 days a week, and that's what they talk about. They talk about hunting. We'll talk about some other things about the outdoor industry and such. But really, I think each show you're going to pick up some tips, techniques, lessons learned that you can transfer into both your experiences and Niki's experience. So keep it up. I mean, it's just awesome to have you gals sharing from Joe's place down there. Let's switch it up, and I know you gals are starting something or continuing something, Models Hunter TV. So I'm going to ask you the question, and then we'll pass the phone to Niki. So
okay.
Let's talk about that, Brittney. Why you started this and what you hope to do with the TV show.
Well, Niki and I actually met over a year ago at NWTF. We've been following each other for a few years on social media, and we pretty much live the same life. When we met, we clicked. We both modeled most of our lives and hunted most of our lives, and we both had the same passion for wanting to get kids, women, whoever new involved in the outdoors. And so we decided, hey, everyone was picking on us, hey, y'all should do your own show, because we were already hunting and fishing together and just having a good time. And they were like, do your own show. And at first they were like, whatever. And then we decided, why not? I mean, we're constantly posting videos and stuff on social media. Why not go ahead and do it? See how it goes. So we decided on Model Hunter because we do model and we do hunt, but we also want to be a role model for the little ones coming up. And for any woman out there or man who is scared to, ask how to hunt because, a lot of people, they want to do it, but they don't know who to ask or how to ask. So we want to show everyone that they can do it. If you want to do it, you can do it. If you can dream it, you can do it. That's what we're doing on a daily basis is chasing our dreams. Now, we're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but we are having fun, and we're traveling and soaking it all in. So it's fun to be able to share. I'm sorry.
No, who's doing the filming?
We actually have a producer, Jared Lott. He owns Broadstead Media. He's out of Statesboro, Georgia. He's a very good friend of ours, and he was just there when we were brainstorming ideas, and he said he would help us. So he has been a blessing to us. And when me and Niki are on the road and he's unable to come because he's very busy with his own stuff, we just film each other. So
that's great. Why don't you pass the phone over to Niki and have her talk about Model Hunting TV?
Okay. Niki. Hello.
Yeah, Niki, so following up on Brittney and Model Hunting TV, what's your thoughts and where do you hope to go with the show?
Yeah, so like Brittney was saying, at first we were just kind of like, oh no, like we're friends and this is fun, and everybody just kept bugging us and was like, y'all really need to do this, and we finally did it, and I think it was one of the best things that we could do. We both have the same drive and passion and love for what we do and helping others. And not only that, but this lifestyle that we have is extremely different than your normal lifestyle. Going to your job, 9 to 5 every day, we're never home. And so it's hard for a lot of people to understand how we do what we do. So it's great to have somebody, a fellow girl hunter, who knows and understands exactly why we do what we do, why we we're always away from home and everything. And so we're always there for each other and support. And it's just great to have somebody like that with you. And I have high hopes for Model Hunter. I feel like, we're reaching for the sky. Anything can happen, and we're ready for whatever God throws at us, and there's no telling.
Well, thanks for that. And Brittney was sharing, you are both professional models, but you also want to model something for other people that are trying to get in the business and for kids. So how does that work into the whole framework of what you're trying to accomplish?
Oh, absolutely. Whether it be kids, whether it be preteens, teenagers, adults, whatever, the whole age range. We just love, people are always asking us, how do you do what you do? My daughter is getting started in the hunting. What are some tips you have for her? Or my son's getting started, or my boyfriend is getting started, and what would you say to him? But we actually volunteer with Hunting for the Cure in Georgia. It's a nonprofit organization where kids with cancer come to just have a fun weekend of hunting. And not only do they get to hunt, but their family gets to come and hunt as well if they would like. So that's great for the whole family, and we have so many fun activities to do while we're there, whether it's fishing or just playing silly games and riding the golf cart around. I actually have 2 little nephews that I have always took hunting with me and just showed them how to shoot guns, and they actually got little practice bows for Christmas. And so slowly but surely I am teaching them every way I can, even being away from home. So we love getting others involved and keeping this tradition going, just like my grandpa kept it going with me.
And thanks for that. And let's talk about your grandfather and how he passed on the hunting tradition to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So my grandpa was a huge hunter all of his life. He grew up, there was no such thing as going to your office job and this and that. He got up at the crack of dawn and he had to go out, feed the cows, and start working in tobacco. My family all worked in tobacco, and his dad actually taught him how to hunt. He hunted bear, deer, hogs, you name it. He has hunted it in North Carolina, Virginia. So, of course, he starts, as soon as I'm old enough, he puts a gun in my hand and has me in the pasture shooting at targets. And, some people, he tried that with my mom, but she didn't like it for very long. But with me, it just clicked. And it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And He took me hunting every chance that he could. He was actually there with me when I shot my first deer. It's just absolutely amazing, and that I learned so much from him growing up, just in the outdoors and fishing and everything. It's great.
Now, with your show, Model Hunting TV, do you have special kids segment or veteran segment, or is it just thrown in, however it happens and however hunting with you?
Yeah, so what we're actually going to do, we actually already have a lot of footage from our previous hunt at Hunting for the Cure. And so we are definitely going to have an episode with Hunting for the Cure. We're going to do a little episode. I'm going to be with my grandpa, and Brittney's going to be with her granny. And so that's going to be an episode, and we're going to try to do something different for just about each episode, and there's no telling who will be with us or where we'll be at. We love helping others and giving back when we can. So it's up from here, and the people with us and the kids going to be with us and our family. So it's going to be great. Hey, folks, that's the end of part 1 with Niki Tilley and Brittney Glaze as they share their hunting experiences at Peconi's Trophy Whitetails of Southern Ohio. On the next show, they'll continue to share their passion for the outdoors and share what's going to happen at Model Hunter TV.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.